I reckon some chilled soups are coming my way. Or some lovely Chinese cucumber salad. Hello and welcome to my garden. I'm Marion and I'm turning what has been an overgrown garden into a vegetable plot and also redoing my flower beds. Today I'm at long last starting to tackle the pruning. It's been so waiting, and every week I think I keep saying it's time to prune this, it's time to prune that, and I haven't really got on top of any of it. However, the weather has been gorgeous and I'm pleased to say the wind hasn't been there, the sunshine's been shining down, the skies have been blue, the birds have been singing, and at long last I've got my pruners on and I'm going to tackle a few pruning jobs this week. So starting off at the front garden, and I'm going to tackle that little bit of lavender that's outside the dining room window. It's overdue being pruned. Usually I would say starting to prune the lavender maybe as early as the beginning of August, but I definitely want it to be tidy because it didn't get pruned at all last year, and so that's what I'm going to start on first, and then it'll be in the back and cutting down things that need cutting down, things that need tidying up, and getting on with some long overdue proper pruning. It's just that time of year. Well, the first job to tackle is this lavender, which hasn't had any attention for the past 2 or 3 years. It needs a proper renovation prune. So hopefully I'm saving it, but I just need to take it right down as low as I possibly can. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and then hopefully next year it'll be coming back lovely. You can see how much dead there is here. It's in a poor state. So I'm just going to get in there and give it a good go. Any dead is coming right the way out. I need to go right to where I can see the last bit of live growth and not cut any further, because if you cut into the old wood it struggles to come back, but if you can just leave a few little shoots on, then it'll re-sprout from them. And so this is the perfect time to do it because you can see exactly where those shoots are, and it gives it a chance to just have a bit more growth on before the winter. There's a perfect example here. It's tempting just to cut this off because there's the green growth coming, but if I follow the stem back in, it's green right here, and so I can cut that whole stem off and stop my plant being so leggy. So as long as I can see those there, it's safe to cut it to just above. So that's where I'll cut it instead of up here and leave the plant leggy. Well, my initial go through has found plenty of living lavender, so that's really good. And now I'm about to go through and tidy the whole thing up and cut it down some more if I can. You don't have to do this if your lavender doesn't need a renovation. You just need to keep it clipped back every year, and now's about the right time. So here, where I've sort of gone to where I thought the end of it was, I can see that actually there isn't really much more alive there. It's here. As I follow it back, well, there's a live bit there, so I can cut it back more. And so I'm going to do that with all of this. I'm just going to cut it back to the lowest that I can find a live shoot, and I'll tidy the soil, show you what it looks like at the end. Time for a drink, I think. As the sunshine's come out again, it's quite warm. Now I'm going to get all the lavender buds off the plants into a nice paper bag so that I can keep them for lavender sachets, and I'll show you what I'm doing with the other lavender once I've done a big clear up. But it's nice to be out in the sunshine, even though I can't even see myself on the camera, but I'm sure I'm red in the face already. Anyway, on to lavender buds and clearing up. Just getting all the flowers sort of put together like that, and so I can do it quickly. I'm just then cutting all the flower heads off to put in my paper bag, and I can sort them out better than that later, but it'll take me too long to take them all off, only because these are hedge and they have relatively short stems comparison to my old-fashioned English lavender that has long stems. Well, I've got that tidied up the best I can, and I've pruned it a lot further than I thought it was going to manage. But that should come back really nice and neat and tight in the spring. So although it looks a bit rubbish now, that's just what you have to do when you're trying to renovate a lavender. Now I'm on to this one. This is way past the renovation stage. It has a huge trunk. It fell down a few years ago and I propped it up with a stick, and it never got pruned last year at all. So it's either take it out or deal with it as it is, and I like the long stems this has, and so I deal with it as it is, and I prune this in a totally different way to the hedge kit. For this one I'm just going to take each little pad of lavender and cut it into the live shoots, because I can't cut it any further back really. So as long as I cut it into the live shoots, that should be fine. It'll grow up from this. The reason I'm particularly doing it this way is, well, firstly I only have this one plant to deal with, so I don't need to do it with a hedge trimmer or anything. The second thing is this one has really long stems, and so what I'm going to do is take it back into its little pads, but then I'm going to keep these really long stems to make what we always in our family called lavender bottles, but you see as lavender wands. That's one reason I keep this plant around. Well, I think that's the best I can do for that at the moment. I've left that little fringe at the back. As you might be able to see, the bees are all over that lavender. But for this piece of the front garden in front of the dining room window, there's not really much else I can do until the autumn now. I might need a clear out in the bottom of here, but I'm quite happy with the way it is now. The main thing was getting the lavender, the couch grass out and giving it a chance for next year. The pelargoniums are flowering really well. And now I've got all this lovely lavender in the bag for lavender sachets and the great big long stems for lavender ones. The big task for here is getting the ladders out to prune the rose. It's Graham Thomas, it's just too tall now. It didn't flower very well because I hadn't pruned it, and so I'm just going to prune it right the way down and try and manage it as a large shrub rather than a climber. But to do that, I'll have to have the ladders out and somebody with me, because I won't go up the ladders by myself. Second flush of flowers is coming in nicely on Tottering by Gently. Such a beautiful rose. My main concern with the sitting room side is my pour box. It's not looking good at all. I'm going to give it a clip now, see if I can take it back again into green, because the stems look alive. I think the wind and the sun have just not been treating it kindly. So I'm going to really clip it in now. Well, I'm still not sure it's going to survive, but I'm doing the best I can. I'll keep it watered, and if it can survive over the winter and start again, I'm going to give it its chance. So I'm going to sweep up and see if I can get on with anything else. Well, I've come through from the front garden to start the honeysuckle and the apple tree in the back. But before I do that, I'm just going to give an initial prune to the clematis here, because all year I've been ducking underneath, and normally I've been leaving this and just crisis pruning it in the spring when it's on top of everything else. It's over. This is the time I can prune it back. And so before I even go through to the other part of the garden, I'm just going to clear myself an archway through here. It's so beautiful, but it's definitely over. There's only the odd flower hanging on now. The thing is, it's just so lovely, but also it's so vigorous. This will be right back to this size next spring, I can guarantee it. It must put on miles of growth every year. At the minute, it's not allowing me to get the rose pruned, because this rose hasn't been pruned in, well, maybe 5 years, and the whole weight of it is bringing the archway down. But I'll definitely need the ladders out to do the rows, because I'll have to be up on the top of the archway. That'll be for another day. At least I'll be able to walk through it without ducking my head. Well, I definitely won't be having to duck my head. You can see how the arch is leaning over a bit. I'll take more weight off the top. But that'll have to wait till I get the ladders out. Lately I've been pulling this like this in March when it was already dead, but really this is the proper time to do it. It's a beautiful clematis, deserves a bit of a prune, and as you might be able to see, my poor arch is coming down with the weight of it. I don't want to happen here what happened in the front garden. And you might be able to see when you look through, take you in closer, that there aren't any nets on the cabbages. That's because I've virtually given up with the nets and thought it was easier to just leave them unnetted and let the birds try and pick the caterpillars off for me, and at least every day when I come up I can search through for them. It sort of seemed easier than giving them the protection of the nets. I just have to do different next year, that's the thing. But I keep my fingers well and truly crossed that I get a harvest. Oh, there's a bird just gone in. And my goodness, look at this. I've actually got a flower coming on my sweet corn. I can't believe it. I'm definitely super happy with that. I didn't think they were actually going to flower or make any fruit. So at least I'm getting a chance. That's really good. Hooray for nature. Things can grow and surprise you at any stage of your gardening journey. They really can. Well, I absolutely thought that I was on top of the courgette situation. And then I've just discovered these two huge ones. Look at the size of them. I didn't even realise I hadn't cut them. So they're getting cut now. I think I've left them too long. Well, sort of know what I'll do with them. They sneaked up on me. And while I've been pruning, my daughter Naomi's been enjoying harvesting from the polytunnel. You like going to get the stuff out the polytunnel, don't you?
Yes.
All my bits of vegetables.
Nice and fresh.
Well, I'm just taking a breather while I just have a rest a minute and go back to my pruning. And the last thing to say is that there won't be a video next week. There's something else going on between both of my channels. So this one in my garden and Marion's World, which is mainly sewing. So next week there's something else happening and I'll put a post out so to tell you what it is. So watch out for a post coming from me letting you know what's happening next week and what you can do. So with all that said, I'm going to leave you in this lovely sunny evening. I feel I've got quite a bit achieved today. Thanks for watching and thanks for all your comments. I will get caught up with them soon. There's just a lot been going on.